What is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I am not a financial advisor nor expert. I am just some random dude on YouTube, so take what I say with a grain of salt. The reason that I started this channel is because a couple of years back, I was about $30,000 deep in some pretty bad medical debt, and I was very fortunate to have some close family, friends, and mentors that pushed me to work really hard and invest my money in the market. And I am now happy to say that I am not only financially free, but doing pretty well for myself at the age of 23. So if I can pass along any of the information, resources, or tools that were given to me and make the community a little bit better off than it was before, that's all I can ask for. Lastly, if you would not mind dropping a like on the video, it really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this, as I do post videos every day, multiple times a day. Quick shout out to the guys over at the Patreon, Karthik, Pedro, Valentino, Joy, Edmar, Rafshan, Albert. These guys, I appreciate your support so much. They're going to have access to the private Discord, as well as real-time insight to my trading strategies. Now, today we're going to be looking at ticker symbol PLUG, Plug Power Incorporated. And man, this thing is filthy. It saw a 20% run up yesterday. That is absolutely insane. Both this and Fuel Cell are doing extremely well right now, and it's absolutely insane to see the growth that this company has been showing. So we're going to establish a couple different levels to watch here. I do have a couple indicators pulled up. The volume weighted moving average on a 20-day scale is the blue line right here. The 200 EMA right here, the exponential moving average. We're going to talk about what these mean, what we're looking for a more bullish indicator. We're going to talk about current volume trends, how much volume's coming in, what this means to see an increase or a decrease, the RSI indicator, the relative strength index. We've got some levels of support set up. We're going to establish some levels of resistance, and we're going to look at this, from a macroscopic and a microscopic point of view. So if you're not familiar with what plug power is, we're just going to read off real quick a small fundamental. It is an alternative energy technology which focuses on the design, development, commercialization, and manufacture of hydrogen and fuel cell systems used primarily for the material handling and stationary power markets. Its fuel cell system solution is designed to replace lead-acid batteries in electric material handling vehicles and industrial trucks for some distribution and manufacturing businesses. If we look at their financials, look at that beautiful market cap, $14.54 billion. That's looking pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a nice market cap. Definitely looks pretty solid. If we look at their earnings, they did miss on their Q3. They beat their goal on Q2, which is a very, very awesome thing to see. Their earnings and revenue, their earnings were a little bit negative. Revenue's looking pretty solid. So with some time, I do think this is going to be a pretty solid stock. It's obviously looking really good right now, and it does look like a very solid long-term hold. In the short term, it says that it might drop. Bearish pattern detected. But if we look here at the indicator, at the charts, it definitely does not seem that way, does it? It's looking pretty solid. It's looking pretty strong. I like that a lot. Now, just a quick reason why this stock saw such a huge surge. Plug Power surges on a $1.5 billion investment from SK Group. And I'll leave a link to all three of these in the description box if you'd like to take a closer look. But they surged Thursday after South Korean conglomerate SK Group said it will invest $1.5 billion in the hydrogen fuel cell maker. Shares of Plug Power got a cool 20% jolt in pre-market trading after the companies announced they were forming a joint venture to provide hydrogen fuel cell systems, fueling stations, and electrolyzers in South Korea and elsewhere. So definitely seeing some pretty solid potential here with Plug, and I think a lot of people are waking up to that, right? If you follow along with this channel, you know that I'm very high on fuel cell, and I do think it is mirroring a lot of the same moves that Plug Power is having right now, and I do think that is why we see a pretty huge run up in fuel cell as well. If I pull that up, that's not fuel cell. Fuel cell. We saw a pretty similar move, right, off of what I would call basically no news, and that is because investors anticipate, okay, if Plug Power is going to do well, Fuel Cell is also going to do well because they're the competition, right? These guys are going to do the same thing. I do have a position in Fuel Cell, so I will disclose that. I love Fuel Cell. I do think it's going to do some pretty solid things. I do have a dollar cost average in Fuel Cell. I'm about $11.18. I do have 229 shares, currently sitting up, about $256, not including the after hours or the pre-market, 10%. So doing pretty well in that realm of the world. I do like to show you guys more portfolio just because I know that People do like the transparency, so I don't have a position in Plug. Just keep that in the back of your mind. But I do think it is a solid stock, just looking at it from a technical perspective. We do have levels of support sitting currently at $41.41. You know, this was in the after hours and pre-market, so do keep that in the back of your mind. You know, things can really change. We did gap up very severely. You know, the last action of trading we saw in regular market hours was 36.90. So it is very possible that we see this gap filled, you know, in the regular market hours. So I actually like 36.90 more as a level of support for the stock, just because that is the last actual area in regular market hours that we do see some price action happening. And then if we do break through 36.90, you know, 34.66 is looking to like a very solid secondary level of support. We do have 1, 2. This did act as a previous level of resistance, so 3 different contact points here. It does seem like a pretty solid level. I do like that a lot, but this is looking extremely bullish for a couple of reasons, right? We do have the RSI indicator over 70. Anything over 70 is overbought. Anything under 30 is oversold. But the correction doesn't seem too bad so far, right? That so far being the key word. But if you look at this historically speaking, most of the time when we do reach overbought territory, the correction is not very harsh. You know, we approach 50, which is neutral. We do come close to 30, but don't quite touch it. Correct back to neutral. You know, oversold territory, neutral, 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 neutral. Oversold or overbought, neutral, overbought. You know, it is very possible that we see this reach this 50 indicator on the RSI, which is going to be a good thing for the stock, because then the price correction that will follow should not be too harsh or too steep. So be watching for that if you are trading this stock. If you are in this stock, you know, and you're looking to add to your position, you know, adding in at $36.90 seems like a pretty solid bet. If you don't have a position and you're looking to get in, $36.90 seems like a solid entry point. $34.66, if you do see it, you know, drop under $36 is even better. I think anything between $34.66 and $36 is a very solid entry point on this stock, and will pay you some pretty solid returns over the next year. You know, it would not surprise me whatsoever if 1 year from now we see Plug Power anywhere around $60 to $70. You know, it could even potentially go higher than that, especially with the clean initiative that the United States is currently taking on. You know, South Korea has invested in this company. I would not be surprised whatsoever if we see other countries invest in Plug Power. It's pretty phenomenal, and this is the future, guys. Clean energy is going to be the new thing. There was once a time when coal was the primary source of energy, right? And I guarantee you back then they were all saying, there's no way the gasoline will work. There's no way oil will work, because coal is just what it is. It's what we've known. It's what we do. It's the bee's knees. Well, guess what? Gas and oil is currently the energy source that we use in the world, right? And the same thing's happening right now. People are saying there's no way clean energy will ever be the way. This is how it's always been. Well, you're wrong, because historically speaking, the world's always changing, guys, and we either change with the world or the world changes without us. So this is going to be the future, and I love what we're seeing here. This blue line right here is the 20-day volume-weighted moving average, and it is currently looking, you know, according to the chart, a little bit bearish. But that is, I wouldn't worry about that, because we are obviously in a very solid bullish run right now. You know, we were sitting at $30.87, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days ago. We're looking pretty good. I'm not sweating whatsoever. And then this is the 200-day EMA, the exponential moving average, and this is basically an indicator that takes the 200-day average trend price valuation, and it gives you a number to keep in the back of your mind on how this stock price usually trends, and it just gives you a very solid indicator of how bullish or how bearish a certain stock is looking. And I do like this area right here, and I'm going to explain why on the stock. This crossover between the 200-day EMA and the 20-day volume weighted moving average, because anytime that you see this crossover, like if we just pull back, right, and this is all that you saw was this crossover on the volume weighted moving average and the EMA. The VMA pushes above the EMA. That is a extremely bullish sign and an indicator that you are likely to see a pretty harsh run up in the future, right? And if we look here, you can see that did in fact happen. So anytime that you see this 20-day VWMA cross over the 200 EMA, that to me is a sign that a stock is about to pop off, guys. And I do use that as an indicator for myself on whether or not I should get into a hype trade, a momentum trade, a FOMO trade, any sort of any sort of quick, swing deal, or even if I just want to get into a stock right before it's about to shoot up and I'm gonna hold it mid or long term, right? That's an indicator that you're looking for is this crossover between the VWMA and the 200 EMA. I love seeing that. Volume's looking pretty good. We did see, slightly unusual trading volume in the trading hours yesterday, and we did see a large spike because of that news catalyst in the after hours and the pre-market. We are sitting quite a bit higher as well. I'm actually liking that a lot. I do expect that during the trading hours today, we will likely fill, this gap up with a little bit of price action, but I would not be surprised if we see, it's obviously going to be a green day because we gapped up, but it is likely we see a little bit of a price correction, into the regular trading hours. I imagine some people will take profits, but if you're holding this stock mid to long term, I would not even consider selling. I would continue to hold this because I think this thing and fuel cell is going to pay you extreme dividends with time to come. So Plug Power is looking absolutely filthy, guys. I'm loving the charts here. It's looking extremely bullish. We've been closing, higher than we opened on most of these days, and that's a good sign, right? That's a huge bullish sign. This thing is on a bullish run right now. The charts are looking clean. I love that on the 7-day chart that we have pulled up right here. Now, I do have the 1-day, 1-minute chart. We'll change it to the 2-day just so you can see the regular trading hours as well. And the price action's looking pretty good. I've got the 200 EMA and the 20-day VWMA pulled up as well, just so you can see, what's happening here. We do have that same crossover on the VWMA and the after hours. Of course, here it's a little harder to see. So if you are looking for that crossover point, I do recommend having 2 charts pulled up and having a more macroscopic viewpoint on the stock, because you are going to tend to get, a more holistic view on what's happening with the price action. So looking pretty bullish. If we pull up, some levels of resistance and support, we're looking at pretty solid support at 34.58. If you're looking to swing or day trade this, 36.74 as the next fallback position if necessary. And then in the pre-market and after hours, 41.41. That's an interesting number. How about that? It does seem to be a pretty solid level of support. We do have 1, 2, 3 different contact points, looking pretty good. The 200 EMA is approaching the VWMA on the 1-day chart here. It did narrowly miss it, but anytime this VWMA is above the 200 EMA, I do predict that you are going to continue to see a bullish run. So if you do see this level cross underneath the EMA, that is a sign that we are likely to approach bearish territory. Of course, a reversal is always possible, but just keep watching for that if you are going to day or swing trade this. Level of resistance that we're looking at right now, the overarching number is going to be about $44.95. You could just call that $45. I do imagine that'll be the next level of resistance, but this does seem like a pretty solid stock, and I do think there's some opportunity here in a couple different ways if you are looking to long or short this stock. Of course, shorting this is a little bit risky considering the overall trend and momentum is very bullish, so just keep in mind you are going to be trading against the trend if you do want to short this stock, but you could potentially short this stock in anticipation that we're going to fill this gap up with some price action. Just be very cautious. Make sure that you set a stop loss because if this continues to run, you're going to get burned. And as you know, shorting a stock, the loss potential is infinite, and we really don't want you guys getting burned. So just be careful if you're going to short this stock. You will be trading against the trend. If you would like to day or swing trade this, getting it at 41.41 if it does dip back down, does seem like a solid entry point. And if you can get this at 36.74 during a price correction, I like that even better. That's a much better long day trade in my opinion, or a swing trading opportunity. Does seem like it'll pay off very well. So that is what I have for Plug Power today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel. And consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this, as I do post videos every single day. And lastly, I do have an affiliate link in the description box for TubeBuddy. Now, this is an SEO optimization website that I personally pay a $9 per month membership fee for, and it helps optimize the search results on my videos so that it gets into the eyes of my intended audience. I highly attribute it to growing from 0 to 1,000 subscribers in 17 days. And if you are a content creator or are looking to become one, I could not recommend it highly enough. Now, if you do use my affiliate link, I do receive a commission. It's a great way to support the channel. And if you're not interested, that's totally fine. I'm just glad to have you here as a part of the community and a part of the crew out of Trey's Trades. So that's what I have for the video today, my friends, and I will see you all next time. Peace.